Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be making what is by far the most technical ring I've ever made. It's going to include over 30 individual components, and that includes a bunch of different pieces of rose gold, black diamonds, as well as some Fordite I've got here. I'm going to be using all sorts of equipment. I'm going to be using my lathe, mill, my soldering torch, and even my laser welder from Orion Welders. So it's going to be crazy, but if you stick around to the end, I promise you this video is going to be worth it. Let's go ahead and get into it.
First, let's quickly talk about the design of the ring. The right half is mainly Fordite, and then the left half is mainly rose gold. Fordite has a lot of layers, so depending on how I shape it, I can reveal a lot of different patterns and colors, so you'll notice that a lot of the design is based around exposing as much of the Fordite layers as possible. The final main feature of the ring will be 12 rose gold rods that will go through the Fordite and then be exposed in the middle of the ring. And then I'll also set a black diamond into each of the ends of the rods, which should really add to the look of the ring. Now there are a lot of very tight tolerances and tiny features on this ring, so it was very important that I made a very specific and carefully thought out plan for the ring, which I did, and I'll get started on it now. First, I'm going to prepare the rose gold liner to be soldered to one of two outer rose gold rings, and I machine it precisely, that way the second piece falls into place perfectly. Any soldering needs to be completed before I add the Fordite because it will burn, so later on I will rely on my laser welder in order to weld the rose gold without having to overheat the Fordite. Next, I'll be drilling all of the holes for the rose gold rods to be inserted to, and for this I used my mill with my rotary table because precision is really important for this step if I want the ring to look like it was very well made. Next, I will very carefully shave down the inner lip of the ring to make space for a Fordite piece to slot into. And I machine it down until it's just 1/3 of a millimeter thick. And there's three reasons I didn't just shave it away completely. The first is practical. It gives me a very large surface for the Fordite to glue onto, making the bond very strong and very secure. Second is so that the ring, when viewed from the inside, will be 50% Fordite and 50% rose gold right down the middle. This way I can show off the unique patterns that the Fordite has that aren't really shown anywhere else on the ring. And third, the small layer of rose gold that is left will be visible at the bottom of the exposed channel that the rose gold rods are going to go through. And I thought this would just look better compared to Fordite in this scenario. Now it's time to select a piece of Fordite to cut out for the ring, and this is one of the very most important steps because it'll have a huge effect on the overall look of the ring. So I'm looking for a piece that has a lot of swirls and deformities in it because that'll give us the most interesting and colorful patterns. And a really big issue here is that most of the pieces that are going to be interesting are going to have large air gaps in them, so the end result would be a piece of Fordite that would fall apart once I cut it out. So to remedy this, I'm going to be stabilizing this entire piece of Fordite with Astrotech epoxy. And this process alone will take over a day to complete, but the results it will give us will be well worth the time it requires. I've chosen black as the color to add to the epoxy. This should make things very subtle and not distract from the natural beauty of the Fordite. But to make it a little extra special, I'm going to be adding just a slight amount of pearlescent pigment to it. So this will give it a shimmer that includes silver, purple, blue, as well as gold. And the biggest reason I did it is because it'll match this slight shimmer that Fordite naturally has to it, and that's due to the metallic paints used in the car paint that it's actually made of. So I cover the entire piece in epoxy, then place it in my vacuum chamber. This step is critical in order to fill every single little gap in the Fordite. After 24 hours of cure time, I sanded down that excess Astrotech epoxy layer on the top in order to reveal those beautiful Fordite patterns beneath. And this gives me a better idea on where I should cut my blank from in order to get the best patterns. Now, cutting out a blank will be really simple. I'm just going to use my diamond hole saws for that. And here it is, ready to go. As you can see, it's looking amazing so far. Let's go ahead and get on to the next step. Now I'll machine it to size and get it ready to be used on the ring, and again, dimensional accuracy is super important on this ring. Where the Fordite sleeves onto the inside of the rose gold, the Fordite will be less than 1 millimeter thick. So that means my lathe has to be tuned just right. My expanding ring mandrels need to spin perfectly true, so of course, shameless plug here, I'm going to be using my Adair Supplies brand mandrels for that. And then I need to measure the Fordite with calipers after every single pass in my lathe in order to ensure the fitment is just right. If it's not, I'll end up sanding straight through the Fordite, which will at best expose the gold, and at worst the ring will fall apart, but either way the ring would be completely ruined, so it's absolutely critical. Just as kind of a side note, this ring was very stressful to make just because of that reason, that almost every single step required precision to the point where if it wasn't spot on, the ring would just be ruined beyond repair. But I was able to successfully machine the Fordite to just the right size, and everything is looking great so far. So enough pessimism, let's just be positive, let's get this finished. Now I'm going to use my Fordum to drill out holes for the rose gold rods, and I'm using the carefully cut holes in the rose gold as a guide. This allows me to drill by hand and still be accurate, which saves me a bunch of time. Next, I'll shave the Fordite down to its final dimensions and give it a quick sanding and polish. Now I'll use a carbide chamfer bit to chamfer each hole in the Fordite. This allows me to set diamonds just below the surface of the Fordite so that it doesn't snag on anything, and it also has the wonderful benefit of exposing all sorts of interesting details in the Fordite that would otherwise be hidden below the surface. Now let's make those rose gold rods I've been talking about this whole time. Each one needs to be 5 millimeters long and have a black diamond set into it. Here I'm using a setting punch to bend the edges of the gold over the lip of the diamond in order to hold it in place. And none of the steps involved with this step are super challenging necessarily, but because I am doing 12 of these, I need to make sure I make each one carefully in order to make them all look identical. Now it's finally time to break out the Orion laser welder. This is a machine that has very quickly become an invaluable part of my tool arsenal. It allows me to make rings that would otherwise be impossible for various reasons, whether the parts I need to join are very small, are made of dissimilar materials that otherwise wouldn't join together, or in this case, because the workpieces can't be heated to a high temperature without destroying it. So welding each rod in place is very straightforward. I have the laser set to a fairly low power, but I turn the number of milliseconds per laser burst up, which helps give me a large and secure weld without vaporizing much material. And I just wanted to mention, being able to hold the workpiece in my hands makes things just so much more convenient here. I can instantly just tack a gold rod in place, then I check if the positioning and fitment of it's perfect, then I can quickly adjust it, or I can continue on if it's ready to go. It turns a tedious soldering job into a quick and easy laser weld that leaves me with a bond that's stronger than any solder. Okay, now they've all been soldered into place and the ring is really starting to resemble the finished product that I'm shooting for. So that was super encouraging because I spent just so many hours and hours on this ring up until this point. Next, I'll be adding the final band of Fordite to the ring and I'll trim it down to size. Alright, now we're down to the final piece, and it's the final band of rose gold that will sleeve onto the end of the ring. And again, I can't solder the ring right now, so I'll need to use the laser welder. This time I'm going to be using a filler wire that's also made of rose gold, and I need to use this if I want to get a seamless connection between the two pieces, because every time the laser zaps the gold, it vaporizes a very small amount of the material, leaving a little pockmark in the gold. So the wire filler avoids that altogether while still securely welding the two pieces together. Now everything is finally in place. I'll just do a bit of trimming, sanding, polishing, and cleaning, and we'll be finished. And I'm going to have a ton of photos of the ring that I hope you'll stick around for, because this ring has so much detail that you really need to see it from a lot of different angles in order to fully appreciate all that it has to offer. Here it is in its final glory, and I can't tell you how good it feels to see it all finished and looking the way it does. I put over 80 hours of labor into this ring, and I think it shows. It just has so many details and features, and they all came together so beautifully. I could just spend hours looking at this ring. Now I've got some exciting news. This ring is going to be up for auction, and this is the first time I've done this with a ring that I've made for a video, and I've really wanted to try it for a long time. So I'll have all of the details available in the description, but here's a basic breakdown of how it will work. I'll have you email me with a basic form of proof of funding. Then you'll be added to a private group chat of other bidders, and whoever bids the highest amount after a set period of time will be the winner of the ring. I'll publicly announce whatever the ring ends up selling for, because I know you guys are always curious to see that. You can also purchase your own custom size of this ring for $9,500 on my website. There's also a link to that in the description. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate all your support. You guys are the best, and I will see you next week.